As the crew departs for the Fantasy District, our good friend Reggie waves goodbye from the AGHQ.
Reggie, you want a high five? High five.
Welcome back to Legacy Weekly. Our designer is Demima, our writer is Noteworthy59, my name is Matthias Stinson.
And my name is Superside Kian. This week sees the return of several usernames back from Legacy hibernation, most of whom are taking their time in getting engaged with Legacy again. Flip, for example, is making Legacy a stream-only series for the next month or so. If the streams are hyped enough though, he says he'll consider bringing back the videos too.
Kind of jump back in, the group's kind of doing their own new thing. So we're going to do a stream-only series for Legacy for the next little while.
If you have any more questions about how to support and encourage your favorite Legates, check out the pinned comment from last week, as well as the links from Week 17's description. With that out of the way, let's wizard warp into the events and highlights of the Legacy SMP this week.
Starting off with Pearlescent Moon, who takes the job of a stylistic portal architect in the Fantasy District. Starting from a colorful sketch, her idea materializes as an elegant tree curving around its large portal frame, working out the basic shape of its canopy and trunk by the end of her broadcast.
I think it's gonna be a bit more bunched up over here, and then we're gonna add more leaves over there. It's gonna be very fluffy.
On our way to the usual dragon sacrifice every Legacy stream, Pearl mentions that the cyan grids on the nether roof are plans for an entire city grid. We'll see how the server works that one out. She and Sausage fool around until they name, capture and house an Endermite, making it an official mascot of Sausage's new guild. What sort of guild? Coming right up.
Look at this house that Sausage has made for our little Endermite. Is that torches? Is that torches?
Mythical Sausage, when stream-bombing Pearl, tosses her a magic staff, does the whole "you're a wizard" shebang, and mentors her with a few totally legit magic tricks. These strange actions, comparable to the first half of his name, are not completely unhinged, however. After doing a medieval river fly-through, giving our writer a kick of nostalgia, he terraforms the area he claims into a steep mound, adding crop patches and a curving staircase around it right away.
I got beetroot. I just love the red. Even though it's totally pointless, useless, and I really don't even care for it, I love the color and I'm gonna keep it.
Betsy and Bertie are given a temporary pen at the base of the hill as Sausage yanks an awesome wizard tower out of the ground. With his new Scion Spire piercing the Fantasy District skyline, Sausage fills the interior with all sorts of clutter that a perky wizard would have. The goal of his Magicians Guild is to bring the Nether to the overworld? We're not entirely sure, but it sounds like good story fodder.
Studying all of the details of the Nether to see if we can bring the Nether to the overworld. That is the goal.
Sausage isn't alone with the Magicians Outpost idea, though Slicedlime does less structure building and a whole lot of more terraforming in his episode. First he goes drilling for netherite to reforge his strangest blade, collecting a good amount of resources as he goes. He also recolors the bedrock hole beacon from orange to light blue, since the former was too easily confused with surrounding lava pillars.
Light blue it is. Now the beacon is light blue, and we can find our way a little bit easier. Still looks awesome.
Lime proceeds to put that beacon to personal use, completely reshaping his river's topography to loop around a circular base. Carving the channel, smoothing the riverbed, and manually filling it with water bucket after water bucket. The moat around his soon-to-be tower is laid with fresh dirt and bone meal to make it come alive. By now he's proven twice in succession that he's a literal shaper of worlds.
Obviously the grass needs to spread a little bit more, but it'll do that as we're building. Very happy with this result.
Arcadeless, in contrast, is making the skies above the Fantasy District come alive. After a couple of bloopers back in the Medieval District,
Replay mod, boop, and go, action!
Hi.
and mayhem in the mines.
Oh
Whoa!
god.
Pearl, save us!
What is going on?
After a beautiful cinematic of the crew's flight to their new home, Archie takes to the air amidst rapid land claims by the other members.
I thought we would get our air rights. That is right. The people can do with the ground what they want to do.
He builds not one, not two, but 4 floating islands, shaped very differently from the typical jagged stalactites you might be used to. In a time-lapse only episode shortly after, he sprinkles caves, vines, and trees across the hovering landmasses. Looking for some soothing footage and unexpected inspiration? Arky is your man.
I want to have a whole bunch of them spanning all across this area. I think it's gonna look really sweet.
Back on the ground and partially inside it, Viggo Man's log house is not even 2 days old and has already been pranked with chickens. These legacy people just love their clockers.
I think my house is like a day old and we're already being pranked, I do believe. Can you hear all the chickens?
A lot more than just poultry is squeezed inside though. Entering through a cozy, low-roofed hallway, various staircases and ladders lead to small, detailed rooms. Viggo empties his box of decorations to furnish the cottage, adding a colony of giant mushrooms and a whole bunch of nether plants feeding off its nutrients.
Smaller mushrooms here and there, and that together with the big mushrooms and the log really looks epic, I think.
His decision to harvest the mushrooms himself may have been a missed opportunity to buy from the best nether seller anywhere, Avelmans, who continues expansion on the Orc village. In the existing town, he adds a segment of rough, bush-lined path leading out to a bridge across the nearby ravine. This itself leads to a bone arch gateway and a standalone watchtower, standing proud to remind everyone that he's the OG fantasy builder.
I'm quite pleased with the way the watchtower outside is looking over the entire encampment with those bones.
Despite making some sales at the leaf shop, Avo is still in desperate need of shiny blue rocks, so he heads to the AGHQ and picks up Nash's search and rescue note. He carefully traces his way to the written coordinates, only to find nothing there but a craggly mining tunnel.
519. Right, so that's... Do you think someone's already done it and didn't claim the diamonds?
By a twist of timing, Chimney Swift had already voyaged out, grabbed the goods and flown back to AGHQ in the spirit of Week 5's Bubble Gang. To obtain a bartender for the secret chamber under his storage room, he tacks up a quest of his own, asking for a witch to be delivered to his cyberpunk base.
15 diamonds? I know finding a witch isn't super easy, but I also don't want to have it be too much, so I think 15 is a good amount.
Having built up a trove of Soulspeed 3 books, Chim decides to sell them in a horse-drawn cart whose proportions are purposely blown out of scale. After a renovation of the medieval square to feature a fountain and newly paved ground, he sets up some basic farms in the fantasy district to stake out his claim.
As for a starter house, I was thinking of trying to maybe do something like a Radagast house from Lord of the Rings.
Chim will certainly be seeing some purchases from Gemini Tay, who, in trademark fashion, will be building a dragon in the fantasy district, as well as a couple of interlinked towers. Starting on the wool outlines, she finds a use for honeycomb blocks in the dragon's membrane, settling on a black and gold color scheme. The already settled Legates then give her a tour of the area when she's not busy clearing out her territory.
How did I become friends with these two? You guys are weird.
Her Majesty of the Winter Wonderland is also back, adding to the frozen palace by constructing roofs and filling in floors. The progress and ice puns don't stop coming.
We should do a legacy podcast. We could do a legacy podcast. Dude, I could talk all day.
The same could reasonably be said about Python GB, who puts up his upcoming projects on an icy progress board. These projects include a soul lighting shop, a path connecting his and Gem's spaces, and a ravine town marketplace.
A path from Gem's base to my town, and connect my base to other areas, and then the Ravine Town Mall.
Not ready to leave his snowy forest just yet? He takes a tour of the fantasy district with Arcadeless.
A future Ravine Town. I think we found your place, Python. How about that?
Yes! I've always wanted another Ravine Town!
Returning the diamond blocks of Chim, Nash, and Viggo while he's at it.
Viggo's fallen log. I mean, yeah. I know we just toured this place, but holy poop.
Python digs out a storage room as his next addition to the frozen cave. Ornamented with saplings and pots, hidden light sources, and stalactites in the form of ice blocks and end rods.
This was completely off the cuff. I didn't actually, have any design in mind. I just sort of winged it.
And lastly, there's Fwip, who does not hesitate to leave his old home of the cyberpunk district behind. Despite his past uploads, he reflects that he did not enjoy building there as a whole and will be turning his efforts elsewhere in the meantime.
Like, I legitimately, I haven't enjoyed building there, and I don't think it'll make good content.
Over the course of his stream, he raises a quaint cottage right next to Sausage's tower, so of course the two Legates troll each other ceaselessly during its construction. The end result mixes new and old blocks seamlessly, complete with a field of lilacs and a kennel for his in-game dog Coda.
That professional parkour. These are the parkour skills that won Minecraft championships.
And that's going to do it for this episode. Our designer is Demima, our writer is Noteworthy59, my name is Matthias Stinson.
And my name is Superside Kian. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this recap. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you next week for another one.